This is our opening day, so I know everybody's wanting to get this meeting over with, so perhaps watch or participate in the parades for the Reds. This is the Hamilton County Board of Elections meeting. Today is April the 12th, 2022, and we're calling the meeting to order at 8:35. And I'd like to also indicate that proper notice has been given as required under Ohio Revised Code 121.22. And I'd like us to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and anyone here who's serving our country, I'd like you to lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you for serving our country, as always. And everyone should have received the board meeting minutes from March the 8th and had an opportunity to review those. Any changes or modifications in those minutes as you have reviewed?
I have none. I'll move to approve the board meeting minutes that were emailed to the board.
And I second.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. We also have on our agenda discussion of certified candidates for the Ohio House, the Ohio Senate, and the State Central Committee. Ms. Poland, you're going to give us an update there?
Yes. On March 8th, the board certified the candidate petitions for those contests you just mentioned based on February 24th, 2022 General Assembly District Plan. Due to the Supreme Court's decision, basically under operation of law, the board's decision to certify or reject those candidates' petitions is null and void, and the Secretary of State's office, through a directive, has instructed board members to acknowledge this on the record at a public board meeting.
All right, so it's clear we're under directive just to nullify our previous action of 3-8. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so I'll move then. In the form of a motion, you think? Yeah.
Dave?
I'll just to make it clear that the board acted, I suppose, I'll make a motion that we nullify our previously passed certification of candidates for Ohio House, Ohio Senate, and State Central Committee that we certified on March the 8th of 2022.
I second.
Any discussion? I have a question just for those individuals who may be watching this morning, who, with all of the chaos and confusion that's being created around this whole process, what does that mean to the average voter?
Those contests for Ohio House, Ohio Senate, and State Central Committee will not appear on the May 3rd election ballot. There will be a primary for those contests sometime before the November election, and we are waiting basically direction from the state or the courts on when that election will be held.
Okay. All right, we have a motion's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Thank you. Next, a review of demolished buildings report.
Yes, Chuck Eckert, our registration administrator, will present the findings. We did receive our annual reports of demolished buildings from the City of Cincinnati and the Port Authority.
Good morning.
Good morning.
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 We will begin with the spreadsheet with just two entries: registered voters at 2021 Demolished Buildings Port Authority, which you all have in your packet. On February 25th, we received the information from the port. There were a total of 11 properties on that listing. We only identified 2 registered voters at 2 properties. On February 28th, letters were mailed to the registered voters, along with a registration form and a postage-paid return envelope, and both of those letters have been returned as undeliverable.
So what that means, if perhaps an individual shows up to cast their ballot, it will be a provisional ballot.
I believe what the board has done in the past is to challenge these voters from those particular address. So to leave them on the registration rolls, but to challenge them if they present themselves as living at those addresses. And so the record would be flagged as challenge if the board chooses to do that. And then the poll workers, when that happens, the voter's record is flagged, and then the poll workers are instructed to contact our team here for instructions. Basically, what we're looking to do is to find out where the voter is living now and get them to the correct polling place.
Okay.
Okay,
Or if they choose
Okay.
not to go to that particular polling place that we refer, they can do provisional.
That's correct.
Sorry, I didn't mean it.
No, you were speaking. With that, then, there are two voters again on this list, and I will move that we challenge both at the polling location as we traditionally have done.
Yes, second.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
So we will move to the second spreadsheet, registered voters at 2021 Demolished Buildings, City of Cincinnati. We received the information from the city on February 15th. There were a total of 31 properties provided. We identified 12 registered voters at 7 addresses. On February 28th, letters were mailed along with a registration form and a postage-paid return envelope. 10 of the 12 letters were returned as undeliverable. So the remaining 2 that we did not have return mail on April the 7th, we sent a bipartisan team to those sites. Photos were taken of both of those properties, and those photos have been provided to you in your packet. So again, on 10, we had return mail as undeliverable, and on the other 2, we verified with a site visit and photos that the properties have been raised. They're no longer there.
Okay, so it looks like voters 3 and 12 were site visits, and the one photo is of a residence. Is that just maybe to show the sign?
Actually,
there?
yes,
Yeah.
it's, as you're looking at the photo, the residence is to the right, so the vacant property in question is to the left of that.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I figured as much, but I just wanted to double check. Heck, the one even still has a leftover bulldozer in the,
Correct.
in the lot, and it looks like the ground is kind of freshly cleaned up, so. And then the other 10 all came back as undeliverable mail, and these again are demolished buildings as identified by officials at the city of Cincinnati. It's not
That is
like a
correct,
citizen
yes.
complaint. This is a governmental agency sharing this with us, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And Sherry, check me if I'm wrong, I think we've traditionally done the same thing on these demolished buildings, and that is just to challenge the voter at that address. We don't cancel their registration, we just challenge them at the address, right?
That's correct.
Okay, I'll make a motion
So
then.
I want to
Sorry.
ask a question. So they have a fairly recent registration date. One was 2020, one was 2018, but they don't have a vote date, last vote date. Have they ever voted at all?
They have not.
Okay. Okay.
Which begs the question is if well, it looks like the one is fairly recent demolition, so we won't assume any ill motive there. But with that, I'll move that we challenge those 12 voters at the polling location, as we've traditionally done here.
Second.
Any more discussion? Motion's been made and second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for going out. All right.
Just, Madam Chair, could I?
Yes.
My colleague, our colleague here, Mr. Gerhardt, is indicating that it's in fact an excavator that's on the site, not a bulldozer. So I've adequately been corrected. Is that sufficient, Mr. Gerhardt? So it was an excavator, not a bulldozer. Leave it to the preppy guy to know his equipment.
I'm amazed and I'm impressed, I must say.
Yes.
Okay, next we have approval of the May 3rd, 2022 primary election equipment allocation. I guess it's a discussion to approve
Yes.
it, right?
Yes, in February, the board had approved an allocation of the equipment for the May 3rd primary election. The Secretary of State requires the board to re-review based on the latest registration totals within 30 days of Election Day. We've not seen any significant changes in registration, so we've kept the allocation the same and recommend approval of that, and a summary and a detailed spreadsheet is in your packet.
I'll move approval then of the equipment allocation as recommended by staff.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Next on our agenda is the May 3rd, 2022 primary election ballot and provisional envelope quantities. Same situation, pretty much?
Same situation. The board had previously approved in February, and we've updated the registration totals. Again, no significant changes, so we do not recommend changing the ballot allocation. We feel we have a sufficient amount ordered for the election.
I'll move approval then of the May 3rd, 2020 primary election ballot and provisional envelope
Second.
quantities.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Next, we have a board policy update.
Yes, you have in your packet a proposed signature stamp policy. Recent Secretary of State directive requires boards to have a policy in place in order to use signature stamps in our office. This policy was circulated to the board yesterday and reviewed by the Deputy Director and I, as well as our legal counsel. So we recommend approval.
Again, this is just about the use of our digital signature. And again, council's reviewed it and suggest that it's compliant. If that's the case, I will move to adopt the board policy.
Second.
And I also might add, we've always been in compliance. This is just a more of a policy update from that perspective. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. And down to other business. I see that we have the representative, Kenny, from the Secretary of State's office. Good to see you.
Kenny, good morning.
I know.
Good updated information, other than what we've been going
Correct.
through in the few months.
Good morning, I'm Kenny Henning with the Ohio Secretary of State's office. I did want to add that I was here last Thursday when Director Poland and Deputy Director Linzer did a presentation with the public. There was over 50 attendees here in conjunction with, was it Empower You? Was the host?
Yes.
And they put on a really great, informative session with the administrators that shares information of how Ohio elections are run, how Hamilton County runs really great, secure, accurate, fair elections. All things we know in the elections world, but the community at large does not know. I wasn't able to stay for the entirety of it, but talking with Hamilton County residents as they came in to learn about elections, had no clue of bipartisan efforts that go into it. I mean, right off the bat, people were coming to us with inquiries, wondering who and why and how the media sticks get to the Board of Elections, and just great inquiries that the media doesn't hit on, because Ohio does this process very well, and your Board of Elections especially does it well. And just being able to, I know there was 50 people in this room, and it's a large county, and you know, it shows, and my other boards, when they got wind of this, they were like, we want to host something similar in my other 15 counties. So, you know, those 50 people hopefully go out and share with their networks, family, friends, etc., how Hamilton County runs secure, fair, accurate elections. And then staff also took them on a tour of the building so they could see every bipartisan key fob that's in place, and make sure they really understand how elections are ran here in Hamilton County. So I just really wanted to commend staff. I know that our team was very appreciative of you all hosting that, and my other boards, like I stated, they are looking at doing something similar this summer, because we all get inquiries from the community, and it really gives the board a chance to like debunk some of the myths average citizens have about elections. So great job to the staff for that, and that's all I have.
You know, that's one of the reasons, initially when we were talking about some of the approvals that we were going to make, many times, being from the healthcare field as well, we use terminology that we are very comfortable with and are aware of, but a lot of people aren't aware of what that really means. So it means something we know it's very meaningful for us, but a lot of people don't understand some of the terminology. And I think that's one of the great things, I know that's one of the great things this staff and the board have done, is doing a great job of educating our voters about what the terminology means. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to try and keep them up to date on all the chaos that's going on in the state of Ohio, but anyway, they just do a great job, and I'm so proud of them, and I'm proud of everyone else, too, that works here, and the board.
I second that.
Any other comments? Do you have anything?
There's a few other things we just want to update the board on.
Okay.
The May 3rd election is going well.
Yeah.
Numbers are actually slightly up for absentee voting, both by mail and in person, in comparison to the last similar election in 2018. So we're prepared for May 3rd. We also wanted to let the board know that the commissioners last week updated their precinct election official leave policy. In the past, the commissioners and most of the elected officials actually in Hamilton County had a poll worker leave policy where they would let their employees take the day off without using vacation or sick time to work, or vacation time to work the polls and still be paid. As further incentive for county workers to work the polls, they are now also able to receive an additional personal day that they could use sometime during the year. So that was just passed last week, and the deputy director and I are now going to see how we can best promote that to make sure county employees that work under the commissioners are aware of that, and then reach out to the other elected officials to see if they would be willing to adopt the same policy, because we continue to struggle in finding poll workers. And next, we have, I think, circulated yesterday a post-election meeting schedule, and wanted to see if we could finalize that this morning.
That's right.
We're proposing May 18th at 8:30 a.m. This would be historically when the board hears makes decisions regarding the provisional ballots were cast, as well as absentee remakes.
May 18th, you say?
Yes, at 8:30.
Works for me.
Works for me.
All the days work for me. I
Oh,
already
okay.
add them to my calendar already.
Okay, so the next one would be May 24th at 8:30.
Works for me. I did the same. I already put them in the calendar. Double check my calendar first.
May 24th works for me.
Okay, May 25th at 2 p.m., that's tentative. We only need to hold that meeting if there is a recount in which random draw of precincts would need to occur.
25th, what time?
2 p.m.?
Yeah, it works.
And then May 31st at 8:30 a.m., we would begin the recounts. The board does not need to be present during the recount, but would need to come in at some point to certify the results.
One more time on that date, I'm sorry.
May 31st?
May 31st is a Tuesday. Yeah, what time, at some point?
Yeah, at some point on that day. We would begin the recounts at 8:30 a.m., and then when we conclude, the board would need to come in to certify. Just depends on if we have recounts and how many, on how long that may take. After Election Day, we'll have a better idea.
Okay. Well, it's good to forecast this out. I learned this is not to do anything or schedule anywhere to go after any election, or at least a month. So that's good. Okay.
And then just as an FYI, we would tentatively have the audit scheduled for June 1st, but the board members do not need to be present for that.
Okay.
Thank you. Good.
Okay?
I'm good.
I think that's all we have from Deputy Director Linzer. Do you have anything to add?
Just want to add, our early vote center opened last week, and this spring we are continuing our partnership with the health department. So they are providing vaccines in the same space. So anybody who would like to get vaccinated and vote at the same time can come down to the Vax and Vote.
So have we had any issues?
And get their booster.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It was so amazing for me when I was back observing last week, and there was a lady, and she came in to get her vaccine boost, and she looked like she was going to church. She had a red hat on, and she had her little walker and got assistance and went straight, said, I want to get that booster thing, you know. And she got it, and then she went to vote. So I just think it's the greatest thing that we do here, to be able to combine those two services together, and it makes everyone happy as well. So I was impressed. She put me in mind of my mother.
Got both of your careers covered, healthcare and voting.
That's right.
Has anybody tried to pitch a tent or anything over?
No, so far, we've not had a whole lot of campaigners. We expect that to increase, the
Last
closer
week.
we get to Election Day, but we've not had a whole lot of campaigners. I don't believe we've had any problems, correct, Jeremy? No.
There was a gentleman that has been a U.S. citizen for 21 years, and he said that this is his first chance to vote because his wife works at P&G, so they've always been out of the country. And I didn't think about if you're out of the country for 4 or 5 years and they've never voted before. And this was his first opportunity to vote, and he was a Canadian. He was so excited, and he was really up to date on who he was going to vote for and what the process was going to be like. So that was really exciting to see him so excited to cast his first ballot here. And then he got a booster as well. That's all I have. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay, like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move
So
to
moved.
adjourn. Sorry, Joe.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? This meeting is closed, adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.